Hey, it's Rick with your market recap for Halloween. Nothing too spooky about the market today. Very quiet day, very narrow range. I guess everybody's waiting for the FOMC interest rate announcement on Wednesday. But I think it's a foregone conclusion that there will be a 75 basis point hike. I think last I saw it was about a 94% probability of that. So this FOMC day may be a bit of a yawner. We shall wait and see. No change to the risk model. There was really not much movement in the indexes today. Getting to the charts, here's the S&P. Had what we call an inside day, very, very tight range on actually pretty decent volume. So this is actually, I'll come back to this actually. Qs are a little bit weaker. Still same pattern though. Inside day, tight range, although the Qs are still trading below the 50-day moving average. And the 50-day moving average is still technically down, whereas in the SPY, it's flat. And if we get another day up here, it's going to start to curl upwards. Small caps continue to outperform. They closed rate basically flat with Friday, but is showing more strength. And then the Dow Jones continues to be the strongest of the bunch. It's still holding above its 200-day moving average, which is a good sign. So what I hope and look for in the next couple of days is we put another quiet day again tomorrow. Maybe with FOMC, we might get a bit more volatility. And then come ripping out the other side of that would be a really good scenario. Obviously, if it rolls over, we're going to be stopping out of a number of things. But if it goes this way, it'll be another time if you're not already up to 50% invested, it's certainly, if this scenario unfolds, it would be time to get back into 50%. Currently, my trading account's 52%. My longer term accounts are in the mid 40s, 40% or so invested. Looking at the sectors for today, it really was just a sea of red. The Canadian exchanges, all the sectors were down except for energy. And on the US side, pot stocks had a great day, but they're still just not viable. There's just nothing, pardon me, everything is under the 200-day moving average. Brazil, I guess they like the election results. It's now climbed above the 200-day, but this is flat until this starts curling up. This is not really viable. Oil services, the 200 is just now starting to do what we call an early turn. It's just turning up, but it's so far extended that it's just, again, it's not viable. It needs a good pullback into this area in here to be considered. Corn, it's holding nicely above its 200-day, but I don't know about you, but I'm not interested in commodities. And then everything else there was a few ups, but mostly a sea of red. My positions, DGII had another good day, another new high. Does have earnings coming up but not for another 10 days. So we're still in pretty good shape. Hopefully get a nice move before into earnings and have enough of a cushion to be able to hold some through earnings. I think we're up about 10% now on this position. So I should have enough cushion if things hold here, enough cushion to hold this through earnings, because this could explode upwards. Alpha, on the other hand, is mushing around, and they have earnings on Wednesday afternoon. So This one, unless something magical happens tomorrow, is going to get killed, but it should get killed for a nice profit because I'm in down here, and stops are now one stop on half my position here, and the other stop are break even. HAA Harmonics also has earnings, but not for another 7 days. It's moving nicely. Not much to say about that one. CF I did kill. I got a great entry yesterday. I was able to get, it turned out to be a 4-hour trade on this, although it was very, I only risked a tiny amount on my opening position, but they have earnings tomorrow, so I had to kill this. And my SSO trade still open, still hanging on. Again, this will go as the S&P goes, so it's quite possible this will get stopped out, but I've already cashed out of 3/4 of this position for a nice profit. Did add 2 new things today, although one has got earnings coming up in 2 days, so I bought this and then checked earnings, and then realized, oh crap, I only got 2 days, so got a bit of profit in it so far. But unless it can get magically above 74, 75 tomorrow, I'm going to have to kill this one. And then MOH, this one has fantastic fundamentals. Great institutional support. The institutions went from 1,200 a year ago to 1,700, including Fidelity Contrafund has now got a position in there, so one of the premier funds. Earnings are growing 10%, 34%, 54% in the last 3 quarters. So it's got a lot of things going for it. I'm in with an exceptionally tight stop. So we'll see. This, I may have to play this one once or twice. It's not the greatest of patterns, but some of these big, what's a little disconcerting is these big skyscrapers are the red ones. But when you look at what happened on those days, this one here, it just ignored it and went higher. This one here basically ignored it and went higher. This one here was on the gap and then settled in at the low of the day and then didn't do any damage. This one didn't do much damage. So there was a big red day on Thursday last week. What that went from 372 down to 352, so a $20 drop, so that's about 5%. And then that's now recovering, so it's not my normal nice clean pattern, but we'll see what happens. The sector positions are all still okay. HXU, that's the Toronto, 2 times leverage, is up about 6%. These two, our Germany and Italy funds are up about 2%, and the airline fund is up about 4%. So stops are all at break even, or in the case of the XAU, slightly above that. So not too worried about that. One thing I did want to point out when we're looking at the indexes, scroll back up here, is the US dollar was up today. But this is what, looking at this chart, as the US dollar gets stronger, that's not good for the stock market. So the stock market tends to go down. So what's given me more encouragement about getting up to 50% invested and potentially getting more is that if this were a stock pattern, if this were a stock, I'd be getting a little itchy trigger finger to cut this one out. So we went up to this high, pulled back. The next was a lower high, and then we got basically a lower low. And then now, if it rolls over before it gets up to this high and heads back down again, this is going to be really good. Should be really good for the market. So that's what that looks like to my eye, that this is sort of a topping pattern. And so if the US dollar gets weaker, that's going to be good for the market. So that's why I'm slightly more bullish. That's it for my take for today. So not much to, I think tomorrow will be another quiet day in advance of the FOMC. So good luck with your trading.